All right. Hello and welcome to this episode. My name is Matt Cotty, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker and the founder of Restored Minds. And on this episode, I want to talk about 5 things that I wish I would have known when I first got caught in the OCD and anxiety loop. And because if I had known these things back then, which again was, I mean, when things really got bad was, probably 15, almost 17 years ago. Um, if I had known these things, it would have dramatically shortened my recovery time, as well as shortened the amount of time that I was really, just suffering in that loop. And so that's what I want to share on this episode today. For those of you that are looking to get help or support the show, I just want to let you know that down in the notes, there is links to free resources, as well as different ways you can support our show by liking and subscribing, as well as leaving a review on iTunes. All these things help our show out, and we really appreciate your support because it helps with the algorithm and helps us get this out to more people. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive in to the episode today. So the first thing that I wish I would have known is that everything is a complete paradox when it comes to OCD, anxiety, and all the various forms that it can manifest in, whether it's panic attacks, social anxiety, phobias, and it's kind of the whole gamut of the stress spectrum. And what I mean by that is that whatever your mind is telling you is the right way to do something, it's almost always the opposite way, and it's a paradox, right? So for instance, if you're struggling with intrusive thoughts, the thing is that the harder and harder you try not to have intrusive thoughts, the more you're going to have them. The more you are willing to allow them and welcome them, paradoxically they start to diminish. Same with anxiety. The harder and harder you try not to feel anxiety, the more and more you try to control your environment, and the more and more you try to do these things to make sure you don't feel anxious or you don't get triggered, you're going to find yourself getting triggered more. And you're also going to find yourself um, experiencing more anxiety because what we resist persists. And this alone, right here, if you can adopt this mindset that everything is a paradox on this journey to recovery, it will change your world, because when you operate from the mind and you're trying to solve when you're operating from like the ego mind and you're trying to solve OCD and anxiety, it just makes it worse, in my experience, and for most of my clients, and as well as most people can echo this. And anyone that really has navigated this road to recovery, will say the same thing, right? It's like it's the exact opposite of what you think you should do. So that's number one. Number two is to never try to figure out thoughts. That this is where most people go wrong, right? Their mind produces a thought, right? And it will have a what if thought or some kind of, intrusive image, or, whatever it is. And what we do is we go into the mind consciously, right? We our consciousness gets absorbed into the mind, and we try to figure out the mind using the mind. And we dive into the thought and we analyze and ruminate and ruminate and ruminate and get nowhere. I have yet to meet someone who has successfully ruminated their way out of anxiety and OCD. And and if you start with this simple principle that you do not need to figure out your thoughts, then you won't try to figure them out, right? Because the reason we ruminate is because we really believe that there's something to figure out. Right? At a core level, we believe, well, if I just figure this out, then I have no problems anymore, or the anxiety will go away, or I'll have certainty about this and X, Y, and Z, right? But if you try to figure it out, that's the trap right there. The moment you try to figure it out, you're already in the trap. And so never try to figure out thoughts. This is not a thought issue. It doesn't matter what your thoughts are saying. The content of your thoughts does not matter. This is a wheel issue or a loop issue. And how you try to go about solving that is going to determine your results. And if you try to solve it at the thought level, you will most likely fail every time. At least that was my experience, and the experience of almost every single person I've ever worked with, um, and talked to on this journey. So Never try to figure out thoughts. Number three is to learn how to feel feelings. So, one of the problems that we get caught in, right? Again, because what you resist persists, right? One of the problems that we get caught in is that we have this belief that certain feelings are bad or dangerous. Okay. And when we notice them in our body, we move into our mind to try to resolve them. And for most time, or our environment, and try to control our environment because we believe that the feelings are dangerous or bad. And that is like, one of the biggest things that we do wrong, right? And I say we as a collective, people that wrestle with OCD anxiety, or some stress related um, disorder, is that we believe that the feelings themselves are dangerous or an indication of danger. And because of that, we do everything we can not to feel these feelings, and we try to get rid of them if we feel them. Feelings are just feelings. That's all they are. And especially when you're talking about, if you're worrying about something in the past or future and you're feeling something in the present and there's nothing currently happening, that is just a feeling that you're experiencing. And again, any of the feelings that you're experiencing, fear, anger, right? Sadness, grief, I mean, these are feelings that you have the ability to experience. It's not who you are. It's not, you aren't that feeling. You aren't anger, or you aren't sadness, or you aren't anxious, right? These are not identity. This is not your identity. You are the observer of the feeling, and you are the noticer of the feeling. Okay, from a higher level of consciousness. And I'll probably talk more about that in a later episode. But when you learn that your feelings aren't dangerous, well, then you don't need to do anything to get rid of them, and you realize that they can actually surface and pass on their own accord. But you see, the problem we go into is because we think we can't feel them, or we think that they're dangerous, we keep the trap, we keep the circle going, right? We get stuck in the trap of trying to change feelings, and feelings are just meant to be felt. That's all. They're just meant to be noticed and experienced. They aren't you. They don't mean anything particularly, right? It's just a feeling in your body. It's an energetic, right? I always like that phrase, emotion, right? If you hyphenate it, emotion, energy, and motion, it's energy in your body. It's an energetic movement in your body. And if you can take a more neutral stance towards feelings and not label them as good or bad, or only try to feel good or never try to feel bad, that polarizing stance that we have towards feelings is what causes a lot of the issues as well. And so, which leads me to number four: only focus on eliminating behaviors. Okay. And this is just so important, because again, where you focus your attention and your awareness is everything on this recovery path. If you focus on trying to stop thoughts, you're going to have a really difficult time. If you focus on trying to stop feelings, same thing. If you focus on controlling and removing your safety behaviors or your compulsions, that's what breaks the loop. That's the only thing that successfully breaks the loop. And so your focus and attention needs to be, I need to eliminate all my behaviors, the mental ones and the physical ones, mind you, okay, because they're equal. So ruminating, analyzing, right, all that, which is, what we, one of the reasons that we promote so hard the AAA response at Restored Minds, right? And if you don't know what that is, you're welcome to check out the links down below, because there's some a resource for you to dive in there. But when you focus on controlling behaviors, like, that is where the only thing you're actually in control of, and the only thing that will successfully break you out of the loop. Okay. And finally, the last one is that if you're trying hard, you're not doing it right. Like so many of us are so ingrained with this idea that if I put more effort in, if I just work harder and work harder and work harder, that's what's going to get me my results. And the reality is that this isn't actually a hard process. It's like, because what we're really saying is, don't do all the things that you're doing to keep this wheel going, right? So if you feel like I'm just reading and reading, and I'm watching all these videos, and I'm watching, listening to podcasts, and I'm doing, you need to back off, right? This actually isn't all that effort you're putting in is most likely being driven into compulsive behaviors. And if you shift back into what I'm saying here, when it's like, hey, the reason you're doing it is probably because you're trying not to feel something or to get rid of thoughts. Most of the behaviors that we engage in are because we're perceiving this as a thought or feeling problem. And so if you're trying hard, you're not doing it right. And I'm not saying this isn't hard work, but it's about like that internal effort. If you're really putting an insane amount of effort into this and you feel exhausted, that's an indication that you're not doing it right. And these are all things again that I wish I would have known because I made all these mistakes. So if this is you and you resonate with this, it's like understand that I've been there and many people have. And I'm sharing this today because my hope is that you can reduce the amount of time that you spend on this, right? And um and if you do that and you really focus on these just basic things right here, I mean, I really think that it will tremendously help you on your own journey. So um with that said, if you guys have any requests for future episodes, videos, anything that you think would be helpful on your journey, please feel free to email us at support@restoredminds.com and send us ideas. We always take requests and we take them, very seriously. It's like we want to make stuff and create stuff that is going to support you on your journey. And for those of you that are looking for more help on this journey, um, you know, definitely check out our Taking Back Control program. We have various levels that we offer at. So complete an application, and again, whether it's a self-study or a group program or individual program, the whole idea of the program is to kind of meet you where you are in your journey and to really yeah, just help you get to the place that you want to get to, because recovery is possible. And that's the last thing that I want to end this with is like, if you're struggling, you can get better. And this doesn't have to be a life sentence. And anyone that tells you that, it's okay, that's just their opinion. You don't have to adopt that opinion and you don't have to adopt that belief for your journey. So, um, yeah, hope that was helpful. And with that, I wish you guys a wonderful week. I want to let you guys know ahead of time that I'm going to be doing a workshop coming up here. I think we're going to be doing a 3-day workshop. And so I'm going to be, so if you're not on our email list, like please make sure to head over to Restored Minds and get notified. You can sign up for the guide right down in the notes as well. But on this workshop, yeah, we're going to be covering some real high level stuff, and my hope is that it's really going to be a game changer for whoever attends. So that's gonna be coming up at the end of July, I believe, and so just wanted to kind of let you guys know that ahead of time as we kind of lead up to it. So and yeah, hope you guys have a great week as always. And again, just to kind of high level recap here of the 5 things. Everything's a paradox. Never try to figure out thoughts. Learn how to feel feelings. Focus on your behaviors. And if you're trying hard, you're not doing it right. So thanks, guys. Wish you guys a great week and look forward to seeing you on the next episode.